My other video right above this one was all about about soft washing and that. Now I'm going to break down each individual step of X-jetting, house washing. And so in this video, I'm going to break down the step of downstreaming. What is a downstreamer? How do they work? What's the advantages? Where can we use them? Where can we not? Why do we want to use it? All those questions that you may have about using a downstream injection. And so let's I'm gonna get a little bit I got a little bit of a slideshow here that I'm gonna pull up here again. And so that way you can kind of see the different things about what it is and how it is and all that kind of thing is. So like I say in the videos above here, I talked about the different ways of cleaning, and we talking about downstreaming in this video here. So by us downstreaming, we are able to clean 2 to 4 stories from the ground. No ladder, no anything like that. We're going to be able to clean 2 to 4 stories. And the thing that makes reason why it's from 2 to 4 stories, this is all going to come down to how big of your pump size is. You know, if you have a 4 gallon per minute pressure washer, then we're not going to be able to get very high. If we have a 8-10 gallon a minute pressure washer, we could probably hit that 3 to 4 stories fairly easy, depending on wind, all those. There is some factors, but we can hit 3 stories for sure from the ground without ever leaving the ground. So that is definitely something that we can do just by using a downstream injector. So what is a downstream injector? A downstream injection means that we are applying chemical with the use of a pressure washer. Yes, we have to use a pressure washer. Yes, we want to use a pressure washer that's, you know, in that anything above 4 gallons a minute, because again, it's not about the pressure that the pressure washer is putting out. It's about the GPM. How many gallons per minute does that pressure washer put out? It's an effective way of applying chemical so that the in solution of the chemical can be applied directly onto the surface. Again, I talked about in what is soft washing is, you know, it's not pressure that cleans these buildings. It's the chemical that cleans the building. So when we're putting that solution on there, that is what's going to clean the building. We can get a dilution rate of 8 to 1 or higher. Usually it's about 10 to 1. And this is a lot of time is everything's got to be perfect in a perfect world for it to be in that higher category. So this is just something that you just got to look at and have a higher dilution. Downstream injection induces the chemical after the pump. So we're not running this solution through a pump, which means that way our pump will last longer and we don't have to worry about chemicals running through the pump itself. If we're running chemicals through the pump itself, the pump is not going to last long. That's why a lot of our 12 volts and our booster and our dedicated pump, which I'll talk about that later, it will not last as long if we leave those chemicals in there, and that can kill our pump. A downstream injector works by maintaining a certain PSI in the pump. So if we have high pressure coming into that downstream injector, it will not allow that to draw soap. Once that pressure comes down to 30% of the differential on the outlet side, then it will start drawing soap through a Venturi system, and that will actually cause it to pull a vacuum, and then that will cause that to whatever our premix is, or if we're using whatever we're using, we'll pull it into that downstream injector and out through the injector itself. And so this is kind of how once it comes in there, then it's going through our line and out through our pressure or our pressure gun. There is some things we will need. We'll need a J-rod or an M5 twist to apply. I will actually talk a little bit about both of them here shortly when I go back out to my big screen. Here is the downstream J-rod nozzles that I suggest you use. You'll get different people tell you different things. The reason why I like using theirs, there is a reason behind my madness. So the OO in the 00 or the 00, the 05, the 25, and the other 25. This is our this is how much is keeping it together. So an 00 is straight out, and then the 05 is 5 degrees, and then it's 25 degrees is the 25. The 40 is the size of the orifice. So the size of the orifice on a 4 to 5 gallon minute machine is 40, and the size of an 8 gallon machine is 60. So that's a pretty large hole. Now the 15 and 20 is high pressure, so that's going to make our pressure go way up when we change our nozzles and use that 25-15 for the 4 to 5, or if that 25-20 is going to make that pressure go way up on our machine. Now that will shut the soap off, but that's a lot of pressure. And if we're using that even on that kind of pressure, and say some of the nozzles you will see an 00-15 or 00-20, and that's a lot of pressure. And if you use that pressure coming down on a house and you get below on that first story, you will pencil that house. You will take that oxidation layer off of that house, and you will look like some kid out there with a big penciling that thing. So this is the what I like using. It's a great nozzle set to use it for when you're cleaning. So a 10-to-1 dilution will be for most pressure washers. So this is kind of the best uses for a downstream injector is for vinyl siding cleaning, hardy board cleaning, deck cleaning, aluminum siding cleaning, and metal siding cleaning. So basically a lot of our houses. Now, if you are using it for stucco or roofs, you may have some issues. Now, I do have one solution here that I will talk about it here shortly, but we will not be able to use a downstream injector for roof cleaning. So we will need to use a different system for roof cleaning. Now, with that being said, there is another way we can clean with, and this is called a dual barb injector. So basically we should be able to double whatever we're pulling in from one side. I haven't really done a whole lot of tests. I want to do some testing on how much will this pull a single barb versus a dual barb, or maybe even the bigger ones. I see that there's not a whole lot, but we're going to test them out and see. So this here is a downstream injector. This here's a downstream injector. Now, this downstream injector here, I actually install my quick connects on it right now. And this is the way I will keep it in my box in my extras. I always keep an extra downstream injector, if not two. You're only talking about 20 bucks for this whole thing, 25 bucks. And it's best to keep 1 or 2 extra spares in there. What happens is if you untake this out right here, there's a little ball and spring in there. And if that ball gets bad or the spring gets bad, this downstream injector can get bad. Oop. So again, this is just another one. When you are building these, you will see it an arrow on there. I don't know if I'll be able to get it in line. There's an arrow right here at the bottom of it. And we need to make sure, however our water is going through, it will allow that. You can also see, let's see if I can show it, how small of an orifice is in that hole. So sometimes we will run a bypass around these here, and that is another way that we can turn these off. So that way that water will run around and go to the other thing. Also, I have my J-Rod set. I just wanted to show you what it is so you can kind of see how big these holes are on these three. And then this one here has a little bitty hole right here. With that little bitty hole there, that's going to actually get us up to that higher pressure, which will shut this downstream injector off. And so this is one way we can do this. And so I like using this J-Rod set right here because I can use this for anything that I'm cleaning. If I'm deck cleaning, I can go up to this pressure. It'll put me about 1,800 PSI right here at the nozzle. You get away, then I'm less than my 800 PSI that I need to clean wood with. But this is why I like this downstream injector. We can use the M5 twist. This is called the M5 twist. And basically what happens is you can see there's 2 blades in there. And when we turn this right here, you can see how they come closer or farther apart. And so what that does is that will make that water shoot and spray, on nice 30-degree, 40-degree angle. Where if we're straight open, that's a straight hole through, so that's going to get us our distance. These here are kind of pricey, but they do work good. They work okay. Again, we don't want to use that straight nozzle and shooting at a house on that first floor because that could cause an issue. These here are pretty pricey. These here you'll see, this is my green screen. I got a green screen. That's what's making it, and it's green, so you can't hardly see it. But again, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to open it up, and you can see the two little black things there. And you can see how that's working right there. So again, these are some things of how we can clean with using the XJet, or I'm sorry, the downstream injector. This is the way I've ran my business. All 4 trucks of mine had the downstream injector on and cleaning. I went through a lot of downstream injectors. So that is one of the downfalls, is they don't last very long, but they are cheaper to do. A downstream injector, all we need is a pressure washer, and that's it. And basically, we can either have it in a 5-gallon bucket solution right next to the pressure washer. And that's the great thing about using a downstream injector. We can leave it on the truck. We can leave all our chemicals out the road, and we don't have to worry about spraying stuff and killing stuff because it's don't get a very strong solution. We should be able to clean an XJet, or I keep saying XJet, a downstream injector with the dual barb injector, and we should be able to clean stucco with, is what I'm told. I'm going to actually do some testing and see how much solution is coming out of that, out of these injectors. So I just wanted to talk a little bit today on this one about all about the downstream injector. I love the downstream injector. They work great. It's easy, it's simple, all that kind of thing. So in my next video, I'm going to talk to you all about the XJet. So I'll see you in my next video.